you always want to leave a little for yourself. Kasi if you unload everything, then everyone can pick apart your experiences, and that's something, what I went through was so precious to me that I could not give it all. But I wanted to show a little bit of it and leave a little for myself. And that's part of songwriting, I think. You leave everything up to the interpretation of the listener. And if they feel the same pain, or if they are able to interpret it in a different way, in a different matter in their lives, then I feel like I've done my job as a songwriter. But for me as a person, I needed to leave a little for myself and not give too much details. Thank you. Any other?
Can you describe Kai Del Rio then and Kai Del Rio now? One word.
Okay. Kai Honasan was controlled. Kai Del Rio is free. But, yeah. Ganda na na. I just thought of that.
Another question.
Yes, sir.
Being part of Makati,
Mhm.
what have you learned from being a part of band dynamics that somehow helped shape you as the artist that you are now?
I think what I learned from that season in my life is to stay strong in your values. That you have to be immovable in your values because you lose yourself if you're not. And I feel like I was on the verge of losing myself. So I think anyone in any band dynamic needs to have a strong sense of self. So yun. Thanks.
Yung sa Lodge, can you tell us more about the details and how is it going to be a reflection of you as a solo artist?
The launch in particular, it was very important for me to work with people who knew me back then also. That's why I'm doing it with Gabi na naman, I'm doing it with Lockdown. These people knew me even before The Voice. And parang, I wanted people who were as invested in the journey as me. Because I don't wanna get a stranger and be like, promise, magaling ako. Diba? Parang it's hard to beg. So when I reached out to Sina Ian and Sina Jigger, I was like, it was no question na they were game to do it, they were game to present. Honestly, sabi ko nga sa Gabi na naman, parang, let's just do a little press event kasi feel ko naman pag mag-gig ako walang pupunta. And they were the ones to convince me, hindi, mag-gig ka. Let's just see. And even the artists that we had lined up, it was no question that Ate Barbie was gonna be there. She's been my champion since day one. Bert, my husband. So these are people who are so significant to me as people and as musicians. I belong to the Zoo. RG is one of my best friends. And he is kind of one of the people I look up to in terms of career because he did it in his 30s. Kasi uso sa atin yung up and coming early 20s. Because I was that. And then when RG came out with Sana, and then he didn't plan it out, he just made it work. And then he would share his wisdom with all of his friends that if it's your time, it's your time. And that's why it's important for me to have him there. And Isanigo is a band that I adore, I love, and I'm so proud of them. Anyone who's been in the gig scene who have seen them come up, you're just so proud of how well they've presented themselves. And Sponge Cola was such a surprise in my life. They've taken me on the past year as a keyboardist, and they willingly offered themselves to be part of this gig just to celebrate with me. This is really more of a celebration. More gigs will come, but this is more of a welcome back party for me. And it was important for me to have people I trusted and felt safe with there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about the lyrics dun sa storytelling? Kasi feels like parang, di ba, sa generation today, parang ano siya, yung kapag nagsasabi ka sa isang tao, tapos parang tinili ka rin as very dramatic or something.
Yes. Di ba uso ngayon? Sorry.
Is it something about sa ganung scenario?
Yes. Kasi di ba uso ngayon yung si OA. Si
Ah,
OA.
yes.
okay naman talaga ako. I think all creatives in general are dramatic. And it was actually, Storm Like Me, sobrang bilis ko yun sinulat. 10-15 minutes. Parang I got into an argument with friends and I felt so misunderstood. And when that happens, I isolate. Tapos nagsulat na ako sa diary. And those were the lyrics. And didn't change a thing. I didn't edit it. I was like, this is who I am in its rawest. And I feel like gusto ko ilabas yung song na to. Because I feel like people need to hear that it's okay to have moments like that. And that's why it's Storm Like Me. Because you feel like, I don't know if you guys can relate, you feel like you're too much for a group of people, for your partner, for your family. You feel like you're too much. But the thing is, that's part of being human. You know, sometimes you're too much, sometimes you're not enough. So that song is about being too much and you being at peace with it. Kasi parang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, parang self-soothing song. Alam mo yung baby pag nagsa-self-soothe, kung umiiyak. That was my self-soothing song. I was telling myself, it's okay. I'm okay, but tomorrow I won't. Yes.
So we've been through a lot of seasons in your love songs, like sa The Voice, and then on the Pelica, and
Yes.
you had a lot of course, personal things going
Yeah.
on in your life. So, would you say that you would want to change at least a part of that, or you're just grateful of how things went since it kind of impacted you as an artist?
You know, if you asked me maybe a year ago if I could change anything, I would change everything. Like I just wanted to restart my life. Kasi after The Voice, parang there were so many opportunities laid out for me. And I turned it down. Not a lot of people know that I walked away from very, very big things. And because I wanted to be part of a band. And sometimes I think about what my life would, what the trajectory of my life if I had taken a different direction. But then I wouldn't be as strong as I am. And I think my strength is one of the biggest things I'm proud of as a person. And also as a girl. Diba? Parang, I was once the up and coming girl in the scene. And I feel like that girl needed a lot of protection. So what if I wrote songs that empowered, that protected, you know, people like me? I don't think I would change a thing anymore. I feel like it's more, oh, I got a really good story out of this. Every time something bad happens in my life, I always say, maganda to sa MMK. So, yun na lang yung thinking ko. Thank you. Balik ulit. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen yun yung bumalik ka sa singer-songwriter, tapos may label, you get part of other love
Yes.
music. Of course, this is going to be a different chapter in your life,
Yes.
as well as, as you were saying, you're gonna have a fresh perspective or when you're listening to the process. So,
Yes.
I'd like to ask, what's next for you?
What's next for
Following
me?
this,
Lots of gigging, an album. Okay, I need to explain something. People keep saying this is a comeback, like welcome back, welcome back. The thing is, if you were there 10 years ago, I didn't get to start. Because when I came out with my album, I joined The Voice immediately, and I was not allowed to do other things. I couldn't promote my album. So I never really got to have my proper debut. So I feel like this is my debut. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is who people are, like, a larger group of people are supposed to see me as. So what's next is a proper debut, which is this Friday. Then when the album comes out, that'll be the next thing, maybe next year. And yeah, just non-stop gigging again. I just want to be part of this era of the music scene. I think it's very fun. I think there's so much, and I just want my name in the hat. That answer your question? Yes. Yeah.
So, looking forward, how would you like your music to be remembered as? since there's a lot of changes in the music scene, as you said a while ago?
I want in particular for people to be able to remember me as the girl who wrote songs that made them feel powerful, but also graceful. So I just wanted that grace in power, and that grace in rage, that grace in sadness. Because like you mentioned, I really wanted it to be classical. Because there's a way of showcasing those emotions and being pala. I didn't want to do that. And it took time, but I feel like if people would know me as someone who sang really empowering songs, then I feel like my job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
You were part of the very first Elements songwriting camp.
Yeah, batch 3. But that was like one of the early
Oh, anyway,
batch. Yeah.
I think at the time you were among the next big games
Yeah.
and all that stuff. When you saw your campmates sort of went on to better things, did you ever felt that sumabay ka na at the time, or even when you're in the band, or did you feel that you have to wait and now is the right time?
Ako kasi, like, my whole perception in the music scene is there's space for everyone.
Yeah.
So there was no feeling of gusto ko, nandun na rin ako. Because when my fellow singer-songwriter girls were off doing things, I was in a band. And it was very different. And it was very fun. So I felt like I was doing something different. And at that time, or generally until now, I just like being different and taking risks even. So I wanted to kind of go against the grain with what my peers were doing. So kunyari, I came from the indie scene and then nag-reality show ako. That was sort of against the grain. And then after the reality show, normally, i-pursue mo na yung solo career. Asap na ako or something. I went against the grain, joined the rock band. And then when people thought, okay, this is it for you, you're in the rock band for the rest of your life, I was like, no, I'm not done. So my whole thing is going against what people think. And there was never a part of me that wanted to do what they were doing because I felt like that journey was so singular to them. But for me, I feel like this is my journey. Very good story. I like the story that I built. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't make those really risky decisions. Even this in particular is a very risky decision, but I truly feel like it's gonna be good.
Question.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Julie from Soundcheck Manila. You mentioned that you like empowering yet classy songs.
Yes.
Yet also strong. But
Yes.
so how do you like sometimes check yourself? Like how do you make sure that it still remains classy? Like do you have like a checklist for that or standards, or do you like ask other people, is this still okay to pa rin?
Yes, that's where community comes in. And I am so grateful that I live with a musician and I'm neighbors with musicians, my siblings. So, syempre, when you finish a song, bilib na bilib ka sa sarili mo, nakatapos ka ng kanta. But then that's where you start to ask for advice. You need second opinions. And usually they're the ones, parang I gauge the reaction from facial reactions, kasi iba yung sasabihin nila, kunyari, okay
Oo
to.
yan.
Pero yung facial reactions, I really observe.
That's a good real
Tapos
life
kung
tip.
may konting ganun na, sabi ko, wait, I think I have to pull back a little bit. Because that happened with my siblings. Because,
Yeah.
syempre, yung pinakaayaw ko, ipahiya yung mga kapatid ko who are well-established veterans in the industry. Kung medyo, parang hinirito niya ako ni Ate Barb, passive-aggressive ng lyrics mo. But it was just like an observation. I was like, no, like I had to, and she's so classy with her music. So,
Yes.
sabi ko,
I love
I think I need to take a step back. Kasi, baka masyado na akong gigil sa mga sinasabi ko. So, it always helps to ask someone else. Yes.
Kamusta kayo comparing notes ni Ate Barbie? Kasi di ba Barbie's new stuff just wow.
Yeah.
Sobrang dynamic. Sobrang hirap. Ikaw naman, based on those two songs, naman parang mature naman.
Yeah. No, I feel like me and Ate Barb are in a season na of risk-taking. Even her, kasi she's had a well-established career. I think for her, she, at this season, She just wants to be as raw and as real as possible. And I feel like it's the same for me. So we've kind of been like supporting each other, like just listening, or even actually Storm like me, hindi ko na-record yan, yung vocals sa studio. Parang nagmamadali kami, I needed to get the vocals to para ma-mix na. So Ate Barb was my vocal engineer, and we did the vocals in our closet. So she helped me out, and my best friend Lara. So they just helped me out. They were putting the soundproofing, that she engineered the vocals. That's sort of whenever we just need each other for support or technical, usually technical stuff kasi sobrang nerd si Ate Barb sa mga hinakalikot niya. I can ask her for that. Yeah, she's been a major support. And hopefully I am to her also. Otherwise, I'm just her annoying little sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nasabi mo na, sorry. Sabi mo na yung career path was going against the grain.
Yeah.
Sadya ba yun? Or parang kumbaga just follow your gut and what you will take like in terms of your career? Or you just really want to go against the grain and surprise people at every step?
I think by nature,
Ganyan.
matapang ako.
Wow.
So, which is not the usual pagbabae kasi you have to mahinyin, you have to be as likable as possible.
Yes.
But for me, maybe because I was raised by boys or raised sa military, you know, parang matapang ako by nature, and I always want to try and stand out. So my way of doing that is just doing something different. So I don't do it on purpose, but I always follow my gut. And my gut has never failed. So when it was time to go solo, when my gut was telling me it's time, I was like, here we go again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so in the future, may mga artist na, may mga artist ba na gusto mo maka-collab or work with?
Definitely RG. I belong to the zoo, but if you know his old stuff, The Night We Sleep, I kind of wanna bring that back with him, go heavy. I also still wanna play guest guitar for other rock bands, maybe Kamikaze or something.
Wow.
Or I don't know, I just could never bring myself to sell the guitar. I just feel like there's no one really doing it yet. So I feel like there's still a space for me there. So I just wanna do more rock stuff there. And headbang it. Kung kaya ko.
Kaya niyo pa ba?
Masakit yung before eh. Kasi nagkaka-stiff neck ako eh. Masakit siya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes.
Parang ikaw lang yung nasa scene na nagpa-play ng guitar. So I'm just curious how you started playing it, and do you have any plans of holding workshops to promote the instrument?
Okay, may kwento yan eh. When I joined, when I saw the band that I was with for 8 years, I was a fan. But I had like a bit, medyo future thinker kasi ako. Sabi ko, alam mo, kasi 80s dance, medyo yung vibe ng banda. Maganda kung may guitar to. Tapos babae. Sino pwede? Ako na lang. I had no guitar. And I had never played synth. I was a classical pianist my entire life. Then nilapitan ko one of the members. Sabi ko, I'll play keyboard for you. I didn't ask. I presented myself. Sabi ko, I'll play guitar for you. Let me know when your next rehearsal is. Game naman siya. So I went online and I looked for a guitar. And then it only arrived the day before the rehearsal. And I only had time to rehearse one song. So I just rehearsed like one song, learned how to play synth, learned what pads and patches were. My whole thing before was fake it till you make it. No one will know. So I go, they won't know. They won't know that I've never touched a guitar. And then I showed up to the rehearsal, played that one song, sobrang perfect. And they were like, okay, next song. I was like, hindi ko na alam. Isa lang yung na-practice ko. But it worked out. Pero, yeah, holding workshops, I gotta start playing it first. It's been collecting dust at home. But it's such a powerful instrument kasi visually. Kaya nga natatawa ako. Kwento ko na lang. Kasi inihiritan ako before. I would hear from people, hindi naman magaling na keyboard player yun eh. That doesn't hurt me. Because I know. I know I'm not a good guitar. Like if you knew that I faked it. Yeah, so parang the guitar is mainly a show instrument. You're not there to impress people on the guitar. You're there to look good. Because it's a good-looking instrument, guys. Like, kung gusto mo mag-show off na keyboard, play a keyboard. Pero yung guitar, ang gem and the holograms yun eh. And that's what I wanted to be.
The hologram.
That's what I want. Sobrang luma ng reference.
Nakarelate.
I know.
Ang generation.
I know. So I just wanted it to.
So you never thought you were going to do solos?
Eventually I did na lang. Parang I learned through work. But no one ever knew that. Kaya pag hinihilitan ko, when I would hear something, ko si kaya na hindi naman magaling. Alam ko, hindi ako magaling, girl. It wouldn't affect me. So yun. But workshops maybe in the future. Once I collab again with a rock band, let's see. I just wanna ganun ulit. But for now, let's do the arte-arte piano stuff.
Very good.
Maybe we can play the song again for
For
the
the listeners, yeah.
Before we wrap up and do one-on-one session.
Sige. Sorry, yung technical difficulties, hindi ko alam.
Thank you guys for coming. Sobrang
Thank you. I
appreciate
hope
it.
I answered your question.